This is BSZT News, bringing you all the latest in news in the Civil War. There has been a new development in the West today as the Union Military Division of the Mississippi clashed with the Confederate Army of the Tennessee in Chattanooga, Tennessee. 56,000 Union soldiers faced off against 44,000 rebels, where General Braxton Bragg of the Confederate Army of the Tennessee besieged them. The Confederate forces took the high ground at Missionary Ridge to the east and Lookout Mountain to the south. Now we go live to Stephen Esposito, who is live at the battlefield.
Thanks, Billy. Well, the past 2 days, November 23rd and the 24th of 1863, the Union launched an attack on the Confederate positions. This attack was motivated by the reinforcement of General William Sherman and his 4 divisions in mid-November. The battle started on November 23rd when the Army of Cumberland, under the command of General George Thomas, took Orchard Knob. The next day, General Joe Hooker took Lookout Mountain in a battle that is now becoming known as Battle Above the Clouds. Now today, the Army for Cumberland, looking for redemption for their defeat at Chickamauga, made a frontal assault on the Confederate position at Missionary Ridge. They were under heavy fire as they charged the 3 rifle pits guarding the ridge. The Army kept pushing Confederates back as they charged a seemingly impregnable position. Eventually they reached the top and licked one of the rebels.
And how many casualties were there at the battle?
Well, Billy, the Union suffered 753 killed, 4,722 wounded, and 349 missing. But the Confederacy suffered 361 killed, 2,160 wounded, and 4,146 captured and missing. This is clearly a major Union victory.
Well, thank you for that report, Steve. You can see here on this map how on the first day of battle, General Thomas took Orchard Knob right here, this small hill. And then on the second day of battle, General Hooker took his division and pushed out the Confederate forces here at Lookout Mountain. And finally, on the last day of battle, General Thomas and the Army of the Cumberland finally pushed the entire Confederate Army off of Missionary Ridge right here, as you can see, and they won a major victory for the Union armies. Now back to Steve, who has breaking news at the field.
Well, this just in. Grant has been reassigned to the east as a result of the battles, and General Joseph Hooker will pursue the Confederate Army to Atlanta, using Chattanooga as a staging area for his men. We are now being told that this victory will open up a gateway to the Deep South. Back to you at the studio, Billy.
Well, you heard it here first at BSZT. Stay tuned for a very interesting interview with General Ulysses S. Grant. Stay classy, Union Army. Hello, I'm here today with Union General Ulysses S. Grant. Welcome, General Grant. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing great. So, how are you doing?
I am doing just fine. So let's get started from the beginning. Where were you born?
Well, I was born in Point Pleasant, Ohio on April 27th.
And what year were you born?
1822.
I see. And when did you first enlist in the military, General?
I enlisted at West Point when I was 17 years old. And I graduated when I was 21. I believe the year was 1843.
Wow. And General Grant, what was the first war that you saw action in?
I believe that was the Mexican-American War.
That's very interesting. Now, when did you first see action in the Civil War?
I believe it was when I was in charge of the District of Cairo.
And when did America first start to hear about General Ulysses S. Grant?
Well, I really think it was when I won big battles at Fort Donelson.
And did President Lincoln give you any special treatment after that?
Yes, he promoted me to a major general.
Ah, I see. And the next promotion that you received was Lieutenant General, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And when did you achieve that? When did you achieve that promotion? After what battles?
Well, that was after Vicksburg, Chattanooga, and I think that's pretty much it. And that's really when I was in control of pretty much the whole Union Army.
I see. After you've had won all these big battles, Vicksburg, Shiloh, and you're in control of the whole Union Army, you and Robert E. Lee are probably both the quote-unquote big guns for each side, correct?
Yeah. And really it was only a matter of time before we met, and when that happened, one of us would have to surrender to the other one, and I ended up being the lucky one.
And when did you eventually defeat Lee?
Well, that was at Appomattox when Lee ended up surrendering, and we ended up winning the war.
Now that must have been a huge victory for you.
Yeah, I mean, we fought this war for a long time, and to come out victorious was just amazing.
It's quite a story there, General. And so, General, after winning the war, what are your plans for next? What are you planning to do next?
Well, I think I'm going to run for President of the United States of America.
Wow! Oh, wow! Well, that is amazing. You heard it here first. Will Ulysses S. Grant be the next President of the United States? Only time will tell. Thank you for your time today, General.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you for watching tonight, viewers. Stay tuned next week for our exclusive interview with General Robert E. Lee.